The student remarks to the graduating class will be offered by Ms. April Sese. Ms. Sese received her MA in Anthropology in October 2015. She has participated in archaeological work for the American Museum of Natural History, the National Museum of Archaeology in Lisbon, the Jamestown Rediscovery Project, and several historic sites along the Atlantic coast. Her thesis most recently brought her to the Rio Grande Gorge in New Mexico, where she studied the interplay of sunlight and Native American petroglyphs under Professor Severin Fowles. Ms. Sese.
Hopefully you can see me. I'm a little short. Dean Alonso, Provost Coatsworth, Executive Vice President Madigan, members of the faculty, administration and staff, family, friends, and my fellow graduates. I would like to start by thanking you all for this privilege of standing before you on this momentous day. To our hardworking dean and provost, the incredible administration and staff, and ever-inspirational faculty, thank you. Thank you for making the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences what it is today. To all our family and friends who have supported us, made sacrifices, worked hard for us, we could not have done this without you. And to you, my fellow graduates, we did it. Please give yourselves a round of applause for all the hard work behind your success and achievements. This was originally meant to be a letter to my family and friends who helped get me where I am today, so forgive me for the personal elements, but I thought, why not share what I have to say with all of you? Just tweaked it a little. When I think back to the beginning of the program, to that first week of classes, feeling excited, ready, grateful to be at such a distinguished university, I distinctly remember sitting down at a seminar, listening to the discussions, making a list of terms and concepts to look up later, and at some point I just stopped, put my pen down, took a good look around me and thought, I'm a fraud. Everyone else is brilliant, and admissions made a mistake. Not only do I have to decipher the readings of these early 20th century French structuralists and linguists, I've suddenly forgotten how to understand the English language. There was only very little comfort in realizing later that a lot of my peers were PhDs, but nevertheless, what an uncomfortable space. A total shock to the system. I found myself struggling to seek out solid ground on which to grasp abstract theories that by necessity occupy a liminal space. Complex theories require complex language. Complicated realities require complicated understandings. But over time, and I really mean over time, because some of what I learned only made sense retroactively, an experience somewhat akin to learning an entirely new language in college where Japanese 101 just suddenly clicks in Japanese 102, and 102 in 201, and 201 in 202, and so forth. But bringing it back, over time, my mind and habits of thought learned to stretch, flex, and adapt. Oh, and let's not forget about our newfound superpower, the ability to see through flowery arguments that have absolutely little to no substance behind them. Am I right? Sometimes a difficult to understand argument is just a bad argument. Or a poorly developed one, at least. Personal transformation? Check. It's not that grad school became easier. No. It's not that the struggle dissipated. But as you all can relate, we learned to navigate the struggle. that internal, mental, physical, emotional struggle, our rite of passage. It was the struggle to get through an impossible amount of readings, the struggle to rewire our brains to understand new concepts, the struggle to question and criticize those new concepts, the struggle to get through readings, rewire our brains, understand new concepts, question and criticize, and to finish that thesis. Oh, we finished that thesis. And remember to walk the dog. That struggle redefined our capabilities. Before we knew it, everything looked different, felt different. You probably question everything and rethink what you know, rethink what people around you know, rethink what doctors, politicians, institutional bodies know. The passive mind is long behind us now in many, if not all, facets of our lives. Because, like for many of you, grad school was only part of the picture for me. My husband, fiancé at the time, acquired a rare, life-threatening infection from a standard open heart procedure. This infection later traveled to his brain, causing a hemorrhagic stroke, which left half of his body paralyzed. He was only 26 years old at the time, and I cannot tell you how insignificant were the words, "Your condition is extremely rare. It only occurs in less than 1% of the population." Well, doctor, the statistic is only spiteful at this point. What can you do for him now? Things did not look good. That all too familiar internal, mental, physical, and emotional struggle stayed for a while. So I told myself, okay, navigate the struggle, ask the right questions, criticize results, persist, persevere, advocate, repeat. This went on for 2 years. More surgeries, more complications, more medical parlance to translate, more medical parlance to use. It came to a point where medical professionals were asking if my husband and I were in the medical field. The answer is no. He's a classical musician and I'm an archaeologist. But we've had rigorous graduate level training. We know how thinking quickly and critically on your feet feels like, what impossible feels like, what being overwhelmed feels like, and what that sudden surge of energy to carry forward feels like. Long story short, he beat the odds with a lot of persistence, tremendous support from our families and friends, and very dedicated physicians and physical and occupational therapists. Together, we persevered through what most people won't experience, if at all, until their 60s or later. So, I know now, I am not a fraud. Admissions did not make a mistake. I have what it takes. You have what it takes. Today, here and now, we have cultivated within us the will and fierce confidence to open our minds, to change our minds, to find answers in dark corners or in the dark and cornered, to listen to the silence just as closely to the noise, to vacate that comfort zone and expand it outward inch by inch. Our education and training gave us that. We may at times doubt ourselves, but remember, here we are in Columbia Blue. So as you continue on in your respective fields or create new paths, know that you can walk into that interview with a well-sharpened mind and can rise to any occasion. Not only will you master what you don't know, you will continually challenge what you do know. You will expand your role and provide more value than they could ever expect to receive. Whether it's a week from now, 5 years from now, or 50 years from now, or if it's becoming an entrepreneur, starting a family, dealing with loss, standing up for a cause, or advocating for a loved one, you can and will navigate the struggle. Thank you and congratulations.